psycho killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Today we'll be looking at the top 10 scariest songs of the 1970s. These tracks brought chills to audiences back then, and they still have that eerie edge today. For the Halloween spirit, let's dive into the dark side of the 70s.
I put a spell on you.
Kicking off the list at number 10 is the song that practically invented heavy metal, Black Sabbath. This track was released in February 1970 and is from their debut album. Fun fact, the band actually named themselves after this song because it was inspired by a terrifying vision their bassist, Geezer Butler, had after reading an occult book. The eerie, slow pace, church bells, and Ozzy Osbourne's haunting vocals set the tone for decades of dark music to come. At number 9 is the Rolling Stones with Sympathy for the Devil. Okay, so this one's technically from the late 60s, but it remained super popular throughout the 70s. Released in December 1968, the Stones were already rock legends by the time the 70s hit. The song's perspective, from none other than the devil himself, gives it that creepy factor. Mick Jagger wrote it after being inspired by a book about Satan, which just adds to its disturbing vibe. Also, fun fact, during a live performance of this song, a riot broke out at one of their shows. Pretty fitting for a track about the devil. Moving on to number 8 is something truly spooky, Goblin's Suspiria. That released in 1977 as part of the soundtrack for the horror film Suspiria. Goblin is an Italian prog rock band known for their horror movie soundtracks, and this track creates such an unnerving atmosphere with its chilling soundscapes. There's no singing, but the instrumentals are enough to give you goosebumps. The song blends synths, whispers, and odd rhythms, making it a perfect horror background for any Halloween night. Number 7 is Blue Öyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper, released in May 1976. This one's got an oddly beautiful yet eerie vibe to it. Blue Öyster Cult started in the 60s, but it was the 70s that made them big. Don't Fear the Reaper was written by their guitarist, Donald Buck Dharma Roser, who wanted to reflect on the inevitability of death, but in a somewhat romantic way. It's both catchy and haunting, which is why it's stuck around for decades and has been used in countless horror films and shows. At number 6 is Pink Floyd's Careful with That Axe, Eugene. Originally released as a B-side in 1968, the live version from 1971 takes the scariness to a whole new level. Pink Floyd was already huge in the 1970s, especially with albums like Dark Side of the Moon, but this song is pure nightmare fuel. It starts slow, but then there's that blood-curdling scream in the middle that hits you out of nowhere. The combination of quiet tension and sudden terror is exactly what makes this track feel so creepy. Before we get to the number 5 spot, let me know in the comments, are these songs actually scary to you? Should someone else be on this list? And if you're enjoying this kind of content, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Halfway through the list is Creedence Clearwater Revival's Bad Moon Rising. Released in April 1969, this upbeat song hides some seriously dark undertones. John Fogerty, the band's lead singer and songwriter, wrote it about a bad omen, predicting disaster with lyrics like, "Don't go around tonight, well, it's bound to take your life." Despite its catchy tune, it's about bad things on the horizon. Creedence Clearwater Revival was a massive band throughout the 70s, and this song's creepy message has made it a Halloween favorite.
Welcome to my nightmare.
At number 4 is Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare. Alice Cooper basically built his career on horror-inspired rock, and Welcome to My Nightmare is his signature creepy track, released in March 1975.
My nightmare,
The album of the same name was Alice's first solo effort, and it's themed around nightmares and dark fantasies. This song in particular introduces listeners to his world of horror where nothing is what it seems. The album's tour even featured horror-themed stage performances, making Alice Cooper one of the pioneers of shock rock.
close the door, put out the light.
At number 3 is Led Zeppelin's No Quarter. Led Zeppelin had a way of making even their most beautiful songs feel ominous, and No Quarter, released in March 1973, is one of the creepiest.
Don't you know?
The slow, almost underwater-like effects on the instruments, along with Robert Plant's eerie vocals, make it feel like you're walking through a haunted dream. The title itself refers to giving no mercy, and the lyrics touch on themes of darkness and death. Zeppelin was known for their mystical, sometimes occult-like references, and this song captures that vibe perfectly.
Riders on the storm.
Coming in at number 2 is The Doors, Riders on the Storm. Released in June 1971, Riders on the Storm is legendary for its spooky sound effects and ominous lyrics. The song even references a killer on the road, making it sound like the theme song for a Halloween slasher movie. Jim Morrison's whispering vocals layered over the main track add another level of creepiness, and the stormy background sounds only make it more atmospheric. Sadly, it was one of the last songs the Doors released before Morrison's death, adding an extra layer of eerie tragedy.
Into this house we're born. Candles gathered in their masses.
Finally topping the list at number 1 is another Black Sabbath classic. Released in September 1970, War Pigs isn't just a protest song about the horrors of war. It also features apocalyptic, almost supernatural imagery. The band's signature heavy riffs, Ozzy Osbourne's haunting vocals, and the lyrics describing generals as witches make it a chilling anthem. Black Sabbath was known for blending dark themes with heavy music, and this track is no exception. It's still one of their most iconic songs and one that continues to be remembered for its heavy, foreboding sound. So, there you have it. These tracks were some of the 70s scariest songs, but they defined an era. Their impact on music continues to resonate today, proving that the 70s was truly a standout decade for unforgettable hits. Happy Halloween!